Hello everybody, how's it going? My name's MRC Core. We're back with some more Lore of the Things. Yep, I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and call... I'm sorry, excuse me? Whoa, that's a weird thing. Am I not able to just go to the things that I needed to go to? Okay, that was weird. I kept hitting the button to go to this, and it kept pulling me back to Streamlabs. That was very weird. Anyway, so what I have here today, I'm going to start by reading some equipment descriptions, because you know what? I really want to read those. So we have the Dull Blade. We're just going to go through all of the 1-star and 2-star stuff here, which everybody has, of course. So the Dull Blade, youthful dreams and the thrill of adventure. If this wasn't enough, then make it up with valiance. Obviously, this is just your basic weapon. The blacksmiths make these all the time, but it is a very nice looking sword. Very standard, very thoughtful, very demure. Next up, we have the Waster Greatsword, a sturdy sheet of iron that may be powerful enough to break apart mountains if wielded with enough willpower. AKA, you need to be one of the Titans to be able to do that. And I mean the Greek Titans, or possibly the ones from Attack on Titan, but I haven't watched it, and I don't know if the Titans wield weapons after a certain point. I just know they real big, and they knock stuff down, and they eat people. Next up, we have the Beginner's Protector. A polearm, as straight as a flagpole. Well suited to most combat situations, it has an imposing presence when swung. As would any type of spear. You swing a spear around, I'm going to think you're crazy, and I'm going to want to keep my distance. Next up, we have the Apprentice's Notes. Notes left behind by a top student. Many useful spells are listed, and the handwriting is beautiful. That's actually really nice. So that just tells us that a lot of the spells that come from these books is all handwritten, which means that everyone that can read these are going to just use the spells in them, I guess. Next up, we have the Hunter's Bow. A hunter's music consists of but 2 sounds, the twang of the bowstring and the whoosh of soaring arrows. That's actually really poetic. I kind of like that. Next up, we have the Silver Sword. Quite an upgrade from the Dull Blade here. As you see, the Dull Blade is very basic looking, whereas this is basic looking with just a little bit of smidge of that razzle-dazzle right there. You see the handle changed just a little bit, and it's a little bit darker along here. It was furnace in slightly hotter flames. A sword for exorcising demons. Everyone knows it's made of a silver alloy, not pure silver. Next up, we have Old Merc's Pal, a battle-tested greatsword that has seen better days and worse. And I think this is actually the blade that you see Noelle holding, if it's not the Waster Greatsword, and like the cutscenes and stuff. Next up, we have the Iron Point. Sharp and pointy at one end, it is a balanced weapon that is quite popular among travelers. I'll say, I love spears and halberds. They're amazing. Next up, we have the Pocket Grimoire, a carefully compiled notebook featuring the essentials needed to pass a magic exam. Oh, so this is what young Barbara be using. She just got a good book. And next up, we have the Seasoned Hunter's Bow. A bow that has been well polished by time and meticulously cared for by its owner. It feels almost like an extension of the archer's arm. And actually, you can see that this bow is very well made with the curvature there, and especially that center part where you string the arrows in. Like, that's actually very nice. It looks very well made. I really do like that design quite a lot. I know it's only 2-star weapon. It's not, super elegant looking. Like, it's not like, let me go down to something incredible over here. It's not this. It's not a piece of tuna, but it's definitely doing a thing. Is there more to these? Oh, there actually is a lot more to these that I didn't get to, so we'll start with the Dull Blade. Travels are full of meetings and partings. Perhaps the only trusty and inseparable companions of a traveler are the sword in their hand and the dream in their heart. Next up, the Waster Greatsword. The one who uses this heavy, edgeless, two-handed greatsword knows this well. It matters not what the weapon is, for it is the wielder's might that counts. I mean, that's great, but sometimes the weapon do need to be slicing more than butter. The beginner's protector. In Old Mondstadt, spear arts were forbidden by the nobility. Ostensibly, they claimed that only the sword was worthy of noble stock. But they say that in reality, it was because the length of polearms could bridge the gaps in training, which might grant the unarmed and unschooled commoners a weapon with which to resist. So yeah, the nobility, they enslaved Mondstadt, they held power, and this is actually really interesting lore that they banned spears and polearms. That's very interesting. Apprentice's notes. With words, this book records learning, experiments, and incantations. With the spaces between words, it records a student's striving. Very interesting as well. Hunter's Bow. Legend has it that Mondstadt once played host to one who made music on the bowstrings. Or perhaps it might be more fitting to say that this wandering musician used an instrument's strings to fire arrows. But this is not but an old folk legend. Now, it's fun. It's actually really funny that it says that because we do know Venti is the user of a bow, but he also plays the harp. So he uses harp strings to shoot arrows. Next up, we have the silver sword. Despite how folk belief would have it, silver does not actually have any special ability to exorcise. It is the pure heart of the wandering exorcist that is the true bane of evil. You know, I really like that. A couple of years ago, I finally watched Blue Exorcist all the way through, which I heard they're starting a new season for that. Like a continuation of the story, and I'm really excited about that. I want to watch it again. It's really, really good. If you haven't seen Blue Exorcist, go and watch it. It's a very good anime. Next up, we have the Old Merc's Pal. He would often mention the experiences that he had in his youth as an adventurer. They were always the same old, long-winded, annoying tall tales, but this old greatsword seems to silently say, well, it is a bit over the top, yes, but I was there too, you know. Very, neat. And then next up we have the Iron Point, a simple weapon that exudes a certain austerity. For those who defend that which they must protect, or a traveler with naught to their name but themselves, even the most mundane of weapons might be 10 times as powerful as it seems. That is true. If you're an expert enough with the weapon, you can do stuff. I mean, look at Zoro in Adventure Time? One Piece. Look at Zoro in One Piece. His sword technique is impeccable. Well, three sword technique. And then there's that one guy. I haven't gotten like 22 episodes in, so it's a little rusty, but you know, it is what it is. Next up, the Pocket Grimoire. A manual on magic that is popular amongst students. It is portable enough to fit inside one's pocket. It has been stripped of the lengthy descriptions of principles and voluminous exercises. All that is left now is the exam content, currently obsolete due to revisions made in the 12th edition of the Magic Guide. That's actually really interesting. So even just the 2-star weapons tell us a lot more about how the just magic works if, you know, it's catalyst or bow user. There's so much more to it, and how they're actually able to channel their visions into doing things. So that's very interesting that there are exams that you have to pass and such. And then last but not least, the seasoned hunter's bow. A hunter must always be downwind and must never walk upright on a mountain's ridge. It matters not if their target is beast, monster, or the wicked. This method remains the same. Aim and fire. Aim, hold, fire. That's all that it is. And of course, actually being good at using a bow, because it takes a little bit of skill to use a bow, believe it or not. It's not as simple as, yeah, no, it's not that simple. It's actually a little bit more complex and requires a bit of finesse. But anyway, that's going to be all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. I've got about, I don't know, 800 billion more weapons to go through. And I'm going to do all of those one by one. So stay tuned for that.